What's up, everybody? Mauricio Pochettino. How will he do as head coach of the United States men's national team during the World Cup? My opinion. Let's get into it. One, I looked at his background. Not that familiar with him. Argentinian. And he's a club, he's a club guy. Biggest accomplishment as far as I could see in a brief, skim through of his career, he scored some goals at PSG. I think he played in the back line. His form as a footballer, to me, didn't look too impressive, really. Wasn't that impressed. Now, Herculez Gomez has come out and said, Pochettino is a phony. He's a fraud. That one gets tricky. Then Eric Winalda came back and said, Herculez Gomez, you're a phony and you're a fraud. It's crazy talk. I can comment a little bit on, professional athletes. A lot of them ride on a high horse, right? And we saw, and I love this, when Jake Paul knocked out Nate Robinson. That was a moment, watershed moment, breaking the barriers down between, a professional athlete will dominate any other average Joe in any arena, athletic arena. Not the case. But that's a whole different story. My thoughts on Pochettino, right? And then we're going to talk about some other stuff too, and we're going to read comments. Stay tuned. If you write a comment on one of these videos, I will read it. So I'm going to get into that. We're building up towards the World Cup. When I think of Pochettino, you got to compare him. Sorry about the mosquitoes. The obvious comparison is Bruce Arena. Now, the other day I'm thinking, I've never coached, which actually isn't true because I did coach for 3 months. When I was 18 years old, I was a coach. But more of a trainer, actually. So I've never been a head coach. But I realized that, coaching and playing, two different universes. However, off rip as a player, if I'm given a choice, who do I want to play for? Do I want to play for Pochettino or do I want to play for Bruce Arena? Now, on the one hand, Pochettino seems kind of well-liked. He seems like he's going to promote a culture that's more what's the right word? It's more like the players will be able to feel comfortable in doing what they need to do to thrive, sort of deal. The reason why I say that is when you look at the club atmosphere versus competitive World Cup, it's two different worlds. And it's certainly the way I can make sense of it is comparing club soccer to playing in college. Two different worlds. And it's basically the style of play and what's at stake and how competitive it gets and the approach and whatnot and the fitness and everything. And it's skill versus pure drive and will, and there's so much more that goes into a World Cup preparation. So let's just get down to brass tacks. This current team, there's no star. From what I can tell, they're soft as baby shit. And Pochettino is a guy who's going to come in and coach him like he's coaching a club team, because that's what he knows how to do. Bruce Arena, on the other hand, is he's crazy. And when you play for him, you know that he's giving you nothing. He gives you nothing up from the face. But that's the motivational tactics. And the tactics are dirty, but they work. And I've been a victim of these tactics where it doesn't feel good, but that's the thing about it. It's on you to overcome that. And once you do overcome it, then you start seeing things through a different perspective, different lens. And you say, wait a second, I hate Bruce Arena. He treats me like shit. And then next thing you know, you're scoring a goal in the World Cup and Bruce Arena's on the sideline and he's still not giving you props. And you say, now I understand what's going on here. So, personally, I think Pochettino is going to be a massive flop. Write in the comments what you think he's going to do. And we'll get into some other talk real briefly before I end the video and I read the comments. I think he's going to be a massive flop. And off the top of my head, I think his stats are this. He is 10-7-1 overall as a head coach. He was brought in 2024, so he's had 2 years to like establish a roster. But whenever I look at media for this team, there's like no structure to like what's going on. So he's been criticized for his ability to like form the team well enough. There's so many people hanging in the balance. But hey, maybe that's a good tactic, make people compete down to the last second. And then so he's 10-7-1. He has a 56% winning percentage, not good. And then against tougher competition, so I guess teams that are within the top 30 in the FIFA rankings, he's 2-6-1. So losing almost every single time against tougher competition. So in the top 20 to 30 teams ranked by FIFA. So track record's been bad. And then I'm going to do a whole nother video dedicated to the recent news that came out, but we'll talk about it here as well. Might be in the thumbnail. I'm not sure. I haven't made the thumbnail yet. Matt Crocker is this guy, the technical director. I'm just looking up on my phone to make sure I get his name right. Matt Crocker is a Welsh soccer administrator who served as technical director for the United States from 2023, and this is the guy who hired Pochettino. So the guy who hired Pochettino a couple days ago just says, "See ya, I'm out. World Cup's in 53 days," and he signed with Saudi. So it's like, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good at all. Almost looks like an inside job type deal. Like Saudi money's saying, like, yeah, United States team, we're gonna set them up to fail. Pochettino, we're gonna hire this guy, because you do kind of question, like, USA has tons of money. Like, can we not hire like Jose Mourinho? We know who's like amazing. I think other names that were in the conversation, Jurgen Klopp, I would trust more than Pochettino. Pochettino's an unknown at this level. And he's, as a manager of club teams, I think he's like also questionable on some regard. There's also guys that have come in where I don't even like their style too much. What's this guy's name? The guy who took over after Mourinho for Chelsea, the Italian guy. I didn't really like him that much, but I think he did well. And they won the league. I watched when they won the league, John Terry retirement game. I forgot this guy's name, Buffet or something. Anyway, yeah, so let's read some comments and wrap up the video. I don't want these to go too long. All right, bringing up the comments. Y'all here tripping in the comments, bunch of crap talkers. Here we go. Johnny Rocks UFO. This is for my video, Landon Donovan. I was questioning Landon Donovan, trying to crap talk the NCAA. Johnny Rocks UFO. First, it's not 1997. Second, MLS is not a top-tier league, especially in 1997. Third, soccer is not like other sports. Thank you for the lecture. If a player is college age and hasn't already been picked up by a professional team, he isn't an elite talent. Seriously, most colleges don't even have a D1 team. Interesting. And then he goes on. Landon was right. If the U.S. wants to compete with international talent, they need to get away from the crazy pay-to-play ECNL system. And MLS clubs need to pony up and build a youth system similar to European clubs, where they actually develop players and don't try to rake parents for $25 to $30K per year. But your 1997 MLS book won't say any of that. This has 6 thumbs up. Who are you people out here? All right, let's read more. I guess if you're this is from Dre Footy Bomar 8792. I guess if you're talking about MLS, then college could work for that pipeline. But I think Landon and others are talking about elite talent compared to the rest of the world's top flight leagues. So this guy's basically saying that NCAA is good to feed into MLS, but not into any other foreign league. Well, that would be a style of play adaptation that would need to occur for sure. Like if you go from NCAA to Italian soccer, it's not going to work. You're going to have to like figure it out. I'm getting to more thoughts on this. I'm going to do more videos, but another comment from M. Gobowski. You're comparing 1997 MLS to today's landscape? How dare you? The best Americans now go to academies in Europe by their teen years if they're legit. However, that limits who is getting properly developed, as that avenue is not accessible to everyone with serious potential. All the best international squads in the world have all their players from the best leagues. The MLS is far, far from that. Well, we will find out, as the MLS has announced that they're shifting their schedule to align with the Premier League, for example. Because in the past, we've seen friendlies between, like, New England Revolution versus, you know, Newcastle or whatever, or Arsenal. And you can't really glean any info from those matchups because it would be preseason for MLS and, like, off-season for the Premiership team. But those games are interesting to watch just stylistically. But these are the comments. If you want to learn more about how I've responded to the comments, you can read. That's the first video I did. The one that's called Landon Donovan wants us to be like Europe. I get into more of my thoughts. And really, you got to check out my book. People are crap talking in the comments, but where are your credentials? Matt Crocker, read through his credentials. He doesn't even have any playing career to talk about. I'm Matt Crocker. Hire me as technical director. I might do better than him. I got more credentials. Right? No, but he was leading an academy. Whatever. Forget about it. Soccer American Style. It's my book. Please check it out. Check it out and read. And you'll learn about my thoughts on the culture of American soccer as I lead you into this World Cup, 54 days away. But yeah, check out my book. I'm happy with how it turned out. I put everything into the book, everything I know, in my whole career, pretty much. There's things I couldn't fit in there, but it's all in there. I go deep in the book, very deep. Thank you for watching. More videos soon. Check you next time.